Good morning, friends, and welcome to day 3 of the Stage 4 Major. Multiple players entering into the stadium today, but maybe slightly earlier than normal, but hopefully that coffee is in hand as, boy, oh boy, we just continue to dive deeper in what this major has provided us with, and we cannot forget the money that is in fact on the line. By the way, this is not just for pride, we're not just back on LAN, but we're also playing for $500,000. Cannot forget that minor detail. It is something quite significant, and that just adds into the pressure of what has been a great major, and what kind of adds into the pressure of that beautiful stage. As we are starting the day off with the New York Subliners taking on the Florida Mutineers. It's an elimination game, and oh boy, it's gonna be a great one. Later would study guide you guys through our first matchup today. Stud, how we feeling, brother? We're feeling good. It's a long day ahead.
Yeah, I'm feeling good, man. We got 5 matches all day today, so you know it's going to be a long one. But I'm excited, you know, because I get to cast New York. It's my team, but it's not the same New York that we want. You know, with them having to pick up on the opposite side, Florida, coming off of that win versus LAG. They look dominant, man. Neptune looks like he fits in perfectly on LAN. He had a 1.6 in that series. I'm excited to see what both of these teams bring today.
Yeah, without a doubt, my friend. I feel like every time that we talk about the Florida Mutineers, it's gone from that inconsistent conversation now to consistency across all lineups. Teams starting to kind of get more into form. You have different players stepping up, now being in a LAN environment. We cannot say enough positives about our team. So let's just go ahead and meet the roster. You know them, you love them, the Florida Mutineers.
Big situation, and a nice 3-piece coming in from Big Wake.
Neptune is playing this, trying to bait him out, but aBeZy gets into it up. aBeZy finally a reposition, but aBeZy
Playing just a little bit too much, but Neptune.
He's still got the wall rating for P2 that Neptune is winning single-handedly.
Great work. Again, looking at that mini-map, we know where they're coming from. These players do all round.
But these boys
Have to get through Skyz.
You have to get through Skyz! What in the is this?
And there you have it, your Florida Mutineers entering into the stage for their second time. Oh boy, so like we said, when we saw this roster yesterday, quite staggering. Big Wake is, in fact, very big.
Yeah, this team is very scary, man. At least watching them in that series versus LAG. The first map was close, the S&D was a blowout, and so was the control. And it was just great plays from the ARs. Awakening really stepped up on the later half of the series, and Skyz, he went off in that search and destroy. He was sitting at like 12-3, 4.0 KD, and that is the answer that you're looking for, because with New York having a sub player, S&D needs to be this backbone. You cannot lose a search and destroy to a team with a pick.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like it. I know we talked about you know, Florida at different times, really also throughout this major and the series that they had versus the Guerrillas. Just from top to bottom, things just seem to be kind of, I guess you could say, ironing out. Like there were times where we talked about certain players need to step up. Skyz needs to return that MVP form. He's done that. And then now with the rise of Neptune, this team just seems to kind of be slowly but surely reaching the potential that we thought that they could have at the start of the year.
Yeah, man, and it's really scary because Neptune, this is his first year in the CDL. The guy's obviously he's been progressing his gameplay throughout all of the stages, but watching him yesterday in that series, it's like he's really comfortable, and you can just tell in his gameplay. He dominated in the respawns. He turned up in the search, being the Robin to Skyz's Batman, dropping at least 10 kills on that map number 2. But just the comfortability between those SMG duo of Havoc and Neptune, you can tell that things are starting to click, and has been showing so far.
Yeah, well, on topic with the SMGs, that kind of leads us now to our next team, a roster that has had a little bit of an adjustment, I think it's fair to say, coming into the major, not having Asim in their lineup, now bringing in Decimate for his second series with the team. Coach Revan coming into this series said, you know what, we're not making excuses. We've been through a ton of adversity so far throughout this year. We have the ability to do it again. We rise that question as now we'll go and meet the team, the New York Subliners.
What a kill that was. I'll see you in league play later, boys and girls.
Clayster though has a couple players in front. He gets the 2-piece, gets the 3rd. There's the first. Those one more is inside. Fantastic movement. Shots on point. Keep the streak going.
was a matter of moments before we saw this map potentially wide open.
As we now welcome the New York Subliners to the stage as well. Last time they were here, it was not so great of a debut. It was a 3-0 loss to the Minnesota Røkkr, and I'm waiting. We saw a tweet come through from Clayster that we might do something Power Rangers related. Okay, just the thumbs up. Okay, it's fine. I'll take it. I was kind of hoping for something a little bit more creative, but the thumbs up, you know, keeping it simple, stud.
Yeah, man, and just watching New York, like Revan said in his interview, they've been through a lot this year, and they found themselves in a situation where they weren't prepared for this. They obviously went throughout all of Stage 4 playing with the team, closing out Stage 4 with a 4-1 record, but then immediately after that was done, they had to make that adjustment and pick up Decemate because the team wasn't able to get over to Dallas with those visa issues. So now it's a whole different dynamic for this team. We saw them in that series versus the Røkkr. They had an 100-point lead on that map, number 1, and then they blew it. So then at that point, the momentum, everything on their side is just going straight to the ground. There was no bouncing back from that. So hopefully today it's a different answer. But let's just hop right into our keys to victories for the New York Subliners. Focus up during the respawns. Can't rely on S&D with the fill-in. You cannot rely on S&D with the fill-in because S&D is the hardest game mode. If you do not have your complete team here, then strats are just going to be made up on the fly, and it's not going to be anywhere as coordinate as your original roster. And then also Clayster, he needs to step up, man. You are the leader. This is a time where you had a series that was a .77, and you have a couple of young players who are really looking up to you in order for you to step up in this big moment, especially a player like HyDra. That guy, he called Clayster his dad. You need Clayster to be dad for him today. Father time needs to be on point today for this team.
Oh, that's right, man. I love that. Father time has got to be reared, ready to go. Has to lead the troops in what is going to be another difficult series. As now we're going to take a look at our game fuel keys to victory here for the Florida Mutineers. Need to come out and win the opening hard point. They've been great at doing it so far throughout Stage 4s. They have won 5 of their last 6. One of those victories was, in fact, versus this very team, NYSL. Also, search and destroy, it must be on point. They cannot afford to lose versus a pickup team. And yesterday, Skyz and Neptune, they took over on Miami versus LAG. They went plus 16 combined. And then finally, Neptune needs to keep up that same level of play. What, a 1.61 in that last series? And then also, stud, one thing that we kind of learned from New York's matchup versus Minnesota was that they couldn't handle Standy. They could not handle the SMG playmaker. And at least in that last match, Neptune, so far throughout Stage 4, he's been very similar to Standy in regards to putting up big numbers and being a playmaker.
Yeah, because in that series where New York played Røkkr, Standy had a 1.4. He was just running around the map doing whatever he wants, and that just shows that New York, they don't have their complete team. Their playmaker is not here in the team, so someone needs to step up to the plate today and answer that call because you cannot allow Neptune to take off like the way that he did yesterday.
Without a doubt, my friend. Taking a quick gander at the maps and modes. Checkmate hardpoint to start. Got a few Moscows in for the S&D as well as the game 4 hardpoint, raid control, and if it does come down to it, an express search and destroy. Oh boy, it's going to be fun. It's going to be excellent. As we said, Checkmate will be our first location as we start off this elimination match. As we quoted earlier, loser faces off, goes to a top 8 finish. Winner, rather, will advance to face off against the Dallas Empire in just like an hour or two, something like that. Not a big break, which we talk about LAN studs. Sometimes that can actually benefit you a decent amount. Trying to get some momentum, trying to get some synchronization in the team would be the best. But I want to kind of get more in depth here, right? Because you talked about it at the start of the day, New York, this game 1 hardpoint means so much to this team. Just continue to express to it. How important is it for New York to walk away with the victory here, considering the search and destroy woes?
You just got to go back and remember the series that they played versus Røkkr, man. They played this same exact map. They were up 100 points and then eventually found themselves losing this map, number 1. All momentum, every single piece of energy that they put in was completely shut down because they went into that S&D that followed up and got 6-0. You can just tell when a comeback like that happens on a map, number 1, New York were not ready for it. They do not have the composure because their full team is not here. You cannot allow that to happen early, so they need to respond here.
Yeah, and oftentimes we talk about composure. You're looking at your veteran, right? You're looking at Clay to try and really lead the troops. A roster that's gone through, as we said, so much adversity with, players unfortunately having to dip out. We're talking about Zuma, different roster changes, just the different combinations, a number of different things that this roster has had to endure. We'll see how once more they can try to handle it as they're starting things off well inside of P1. We're at Mutineers with the preferred spawns, but NYSL, you couldn't ask for a better start toward top lane, 30 unanswered to start.
Yeah, this is a good time right here from New York, as the pressure's still here from Florida. The only thing is you do not want to die off these rotations. With them picking up both of those kills, it's going to still spawn New York out towards that back P4 side. One player from Florida is actually going to spawn out towards P5, but he's going to basically be set up for the pitches. They're still holding all these players in New York inside of P1. You have to make sure you respond here, though, on this P2, because New York, 40 seconds off that P1 is a great start to this game.
It's a great start. Couldn't ask for much better than that. As Mutineers primed and ready, only player inside of the hill is Havoc. Meanwhile, his teammates trying to deal the damage on the other side. Neptune off to an excellent start, 5-1. Spree looks to continue as Big Wake hiding at bay, finally dealt with. That could set up Neptune, maybe go for some streaks, one away from the artillery. And we are just moments into this game. Again, we talked about his impact as a player, looking toward the flank, just hoping to find that 7th kill. Yet to do so as of late, but Florida, an excellent job so far at P2, locking this one down the way that you'd hope that they would, easily getting back into this one.
Yeah, so they're going to be able to take the lead, and now all they have to do is just try to break in towards that P3. And you see number 5, which is going to be Havoc, already pushed up towards A Street. He's going to have an engagement with Decimate. Decimate checks the corner, but Havoc's going to win that engagement. So now it's his job to push up on that right side of the street. But unfortunately, a couple New York players have that cross, so Mack is going to be able to take him down. New York is going to be fully set up for this P3 hard point, as Florida all trying to push out from this back P2 spawns. It's going to be difficult with Neptune on an 8 spree already. We said it. This guy needs to be shut down. And starting off 8-1, they're not answering the call this quickly. He already picked up streaks, making a 9 spree. Neptune's going off to start the day.
A nice little 9 streak. Can he make it 10? My goodness, King Neptune off to an excellent start. Makes it 10 just before he gets dropped from a HyDra. Sweat off the brow if you're New York, because you can sit somewhat nicely, knowing that at least he is out of your hair for the moment. But just as we say that, Skyz is on a streak for a moment. NYSL really just trying to handle the slaying frenzy coming from the other side, as they'll now go ahead and bring this one within a good 10 points as P3 comes to a close. I should go and step on his side and go to an Astro listening with the Subliners.
One's really weak. 100
One here,
behind.
one here dark, one here dark.
Heard you.
One spawn kill me, back walls. Back walls.
Top plane went their ladder, guys.
One's gonna be on me. One's gonna be on me.
One's gonna be
One's gonna be on me.
A search, awakening, A search, A search, A
Throw
search.
me, throw me, throw me.
A search, wake, A search. Nice, spawn here, Paco. We can hit hill, we can hit hill, Paco. Nice, 3.
No one's left.
Go chase him.
Nice.
I'm turning. It's 1P2. Yeah,
we
P2.
can.
Go top. I'm going under the plane. I'm going under the plane.
I'm going plane. I'm going plane.
He's on the side tube, side tube. P2 dead.
I push me plane. Mid plane on me.
Pallet.
One shot mid plane. I look.
I heard you. I need
Mid
to
plane.
not dead to my nade. Good job, ladder. He's under plane, Neptune. Cold still top. Top on me.
They're gonna be there,
Top
something.
plane underway. I'm throwing a nade over
Throw
the
me.
plane.
Throw me. Two left. Oh.
On me, but one back here. I got him.
That's one.
There's one back here radio then, Mack.
There's one PT.
Two? I think one's still radio, bro. If that was
Top crate me. Cold really big yellow crate.
One shot.
Oh, yeah, in radio looking for you. Heard you. I know. I'm waiting.
That's one good.
You're gonna come out. I spawned out.
Push out left.
Left pillar me.
I heard you. I don't know where you went.
Well, Standy, we had nothing but good things to say about the Mutineers to start off this match in regards to their slaying numbers, the streaks that we saw Neptune and Skyz go on. But you noticed NYSL, they're sitting in the lead. What have you liked that New York has done, regardless of what could have been more of a different story in regards to the slaying numbers?
Yeah, so right now, Florida, they're out slaying them by at least 10 kills. But New York, their kills are a lot more impactful. So at the end of that P3, as soon as we went into that listening, there were 2 players that were pushing up A Street, which forced Florida to spawn out towards that back P2 blue side. So eventually, they were able to flip these spawns, get a good chunk of time off of that P4. And they were trying to chain it to that P5, but a lot of pressure coming in from Florida. Push out the back, able to flip these spawns, and eventually get this time here. They're possibly going to see a lead change, but Awakening trying to stay down on this point. New York are going to be fully set up for that P1. But so far, if you're looking at the scoreboard, or at least the stat lines, you would think that Florida will be blowing them out right now with the way that they're slaying. But New York, like I said, their kills are a little bit more impactful right now.
Yeah, they're hanging on. So far, a slow start for the Frenchmen. 5-13 from a HyDra. And I know we talked about coming into this game how many heavy-duty slayers we have in the hard points. We have 3 players in the top 5 so far throughout stage 4. You have Mack at 1, Skyz at 2, and HyDra at number 5. I know it's been a different story from game mode to game mode, but players who can really put up numbers, and really based off of that, Decimate comes through with 2. Clayster just decides to go and dip on in, and that's going to be a nice break there from New York. Player does spawn out, that being Havoc, and so does Neptune. So the SMGs across the way. Meanwhile, New York dealing damage in preparation for P2. 10 seconds before we're there, and it's a race. It's Awakening versus Mack.
Yeah, and the Subliners, once again, they dominated P1. They get a good chunk of time there to put themselves up by almost 50 points. And then what a great job right there out of Clayster is that when he was picking up those kills, he continuously was pushing up. So that was going to force those spawns to flip out for a couple players on the Mutineers side. And eventually, New York are able to break in. Now they are fully set up. You see number 1 in Decimate all the way pushing through A Street. He's trying to just be an extra line of defense for his team right now. Going to be able to take down one. Neptune, it's finally time to pop some of these streaks. You have to try to break in. You cannot allow New York to get all this time to approach that 200-point mark. Because right now, even with Neptune having the game, New York, they're playing fundamentally correct. They're flipping the spawns when they need to. And so far, it's working out well for them.
Yeah, and you know, regardless of HyDra not putting up the greatest numbers, obviously he sits at 7 and 14 right now. You see Decimate, he's kind of stepped up. Right now, -2, but has a minute and 27 seconds inside of the hill. As Neptune continues to line it up and give Florida the final few seconds. I mean, what we came into this series, Stud, I know Nameless mentioned it as well. Decimate, he has to be a playmaker. He has to kind of step up in ways for this team. So far, somewhat close in regards to slang, but as we said, doing everything he can around the map, getting involved in the slang and getting involved in the objective.
Yeah, you need him to play like that because New York, they have such a great core 3 between Clayster, HyDra, and Mack. Those 3 players, they can really take over games, especially in hardpoint. But with Decimate, what he's doing so far, hopping the hill, he's looking like his own version of a Seam out there. You know, he's not going to be putting up the best stats, but he's going to be doing all the dirty work. And right here, we still see Neptune on a 3 screen, just not missing bullets. Decimate able to find 2, HyDra with the 3rd. Now they have to try to locate Neptune, and that's going to be 4 down, and they flip the spawn. So New York are in a position to get this remaining time and have a full setup for that P4.
Yeah. And YSL putting themselves continually in these good positions. Despite what has been an onslaught so far from Neptune, we'll see if they can try to handle him or if maybe that playstyle will eventually break on through. Big 1v1 over toward the A Street. Skyz is able to win it. And the Mutineers will be set up for next. But considering those P5 spawns, NYSL, not a position that they want to lose. Currently sitting quite well in regards to spawns. If they can contest this, at least be annoying inside of the hard point, that could be the ticket to what gets them this early victory. As it is a headbutt right now inside of the point. NYSL moments away from reaching that double century mark. As Havoc gets dealt with, so does Awakening, and there goes Skyz. Final player left up, appears to be the final boss. And he gets dropped as well. Continually great teamwork and great plays coming through from New York. But just as I say that, Florida breaks on in. Valuable 20 points on the board still for them to get.
Yeah, and this is where Florida can get back into this. They know that there's 20 seconds remaining, but every kill off the rotation, if they put a little bit more pressure towards that back right alley, will spawn a couple players from New York out. But Awakening's going to open up with 1. Decimate, all spawn is going to spawn actually back P2. And with Clayster dropping as well, that's going to be 2 players from New York spawning out. Florida able to find all 4 players and eventually flip these spawns. Now they're going to be fully set up for this P5. They can get right back into this one.
Yeah, this is a great spot now for Florida. How about what could be the chain? P4 to P5, this hill very well could bring them back. New York, they've got to do something. They cannot allow for this one to get as close as it has. As you've seen the Mutineers beginning to heat on up. Again, Neptune sits at 30 and 13. The biggest difference maker so far in this game as the lead continues to dissipate for the Subliners. Wow. That's 4 down, Stud.
That's 4 down. And New York, they do have the spawns for back P5, but if you're Florida, you're not really mad to be in this situation. It's good 25 seconds on this, and then you'll be able to set up for that P1, and you cannot lose P1 once again. 0 for 2 so far on getting a good chunk of time off that, since New York has been dominating that plane the entire time. You're gonna see Awakening on a 5-3, make it 6. They're doing a good job of getting back into this one. A lead change is about to come in. New York are all spawning out towards back P5. This is looking like the same exact game that we saw versus Røkkr. Now Florida fully set up for P1.
They can't allow for Awakening to continue to pepper them up as they go inside of the plane. He's now sitting on 7 in a row, dealing with HyDra and back-to-back lives. Granted, New York, they're inside of the hill, but is Decimate going to be prepared for this? Awakening on the flank, another big one for Big Wake, as that's now going to be 9 in a row, make it 10 in a row. Slaying out the play for the Mutineers as they step right inside of that HP, and here come the streaks. Just dealing with players left and right. NYSL in the back of their base. Mutineers in P1 have spawns for next as well. Heroics needed for the Subliners at this stage. They've got to break in. They have to at least try and contest this. HyDra doing everything he can. He gets dealt with. Decimate meanwhile there for the trade. Mack thinking about the future, trying to be aware of these next spawns. That next one is going to be everything. A few players start to line up, but that's 3 in the feed. An unfortunate team kill, but Mutineers, they are on the point, and nobody from New York looks to be in a position to get there in time. Can anybody just get a foot in? Can anybody get a toe inside of the hill? The streaks continue to rain down. There's only 3 seconds left before this one is done. Clay drops, and with that, this game comes to a convincing close. Mutineers walk away with our first.
Oh man, and that one's gonna hurt once again, man. That was the same exact story with New York versus Røkkr. They were up 100 points, and then a little bit of mistakes is what really cost them to not get that set up for that P5. They died off the rotation. You cannot allow that to happen. That's the only way that Florida are gonna be able to get back into this game. And you could just see the frustration on Clayster's face. It cannot happen again. That was a choke right there from New York. Now they find themselves down 0-1, and they're going into a search and destroy versus a Florida team who dominated in that game mode yesterday versus LAG, who are really good at the game mode. So this is going to be scary right now for NYSL. But you got to listen to Revin. You got to listen to your coach. You got to leave this map behind, completely forget about it, and just keep the composure going throughout the rest of this series.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that one went back and forth, but as you said, NYSL, they just let another one slip through their fingers. And like I said, it was just total slaying chaos on the other side. Like, we didn't just see 1 10 streak. We saw 2. Like, Neptune started off the game on a 10 spree. Awakening closes out the game on a 10 spree. I don't know what the slaying numbers indicate, but Mutineers, my goodness, a great performance from them. What you see, 25 and 18 from Awakening, 37 and 15 from Neptune, 6,600 damage. How about that one from, what, his second game on LAN now, stud?
Yeah, it's pretty good, but you gotta look on the side for New York, man. HyDra 13 and 27. That's just something we haven't seen out of this guy all year. Double negative is not what we expect to happen from a player of HyDra's caliber. He's sitting top 5 in hardpoint KD, and unfortunately, he just didn't spawn in on that map number 1. Yep. So you need to have a good response in this map number 2 if you're HyDra.
Yeah, you see Neptune getting loud. Mutineers are up and ready to go. Question being, is New York ready? It's now time for search and destroy on Moscow. You're gonna wanna make sure and stay with us. Will it be the Florida Mutineers extending their lead, or can New York turn things around? We'll be back in just a moment.
Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. Presented by USAA Insurance, easy insurance for stuff in real life.
Welcome back, folks. A quick little break, and I guess you could say for New York, they need a little bit of a break. They need a little bit of a breather after what was a very, very interesting hardpoint game. Like I said, this stud, we saw not just 1 10 streak, but 2 out of the Mutineers for both Big Wake and Neptune. Is that the first time we've seen what, in one particular hardpoint game, 2 players have 10 streaks on the same team?
It's gotta be, man. Like, that's an insane stat. To go on a 10 sprees, everyone's going just absolutely bonkers. Like, Neptune, he started that game off 10-1, man. Like, that's insane. And then Awakening, off the good rotation that they had to break into that P5, he was able to just pick up some easy kills and then eventually rotate to P1 and find some more, man. 2 people picking up 10 sprees is not going to be easy to try to beat those guys. But Florida, they clutch up towards the end and make that 100-point comeback and eventually close it out. But just looking at these stats for Florida yesterday, you can just tell. Neptune, he was frying, man. And that's a good way to start for this map, number 1. Skyz as well, man. 4.0 in that S&D. Him and Neptune were side by side. Batman and Robin out there just doing everything that they needed to do for their team to try to get that win.
They see it 37-15. As we said, this is his second time. This is his second time playing pro Call of Duty on LAN. We obviously know Neptune's history, and I feel like oftentimes, Stud, when we talk about players coming in from other games, usually S&D is kind of the mode that they struggle with most, but that has been actually Neptune's best KD throughout all of stage 4. He has a 1.32 right now in this mode. I mean, I guess, like, how impressive is that, you think, for this guy? Like, he's in his rookie season. We've talked about this prior, players who have been in a similar position from him, coming in from a different title, to already, I don't want to say master S&D, but just have a really good feel for the game.
I think it's just the way, just because of his past game on Halo. Like, that is one game that you have to play your life tremendously, and S&D is just like that for Call of Duty. Yeah. It's all about playing your life, putting yourself into powerful positions, and just playing around your team. And that's just something that he's done so good with this Florida roster, that even when they find themselves in 2v4 situations, he's always going to find at least 1 to 2 to try to even the numbers up. The guy just knows how to place his timing correctly, puts himself in a power position every time. So Neptune, he's just been one of those outstanding rookies so far this year.
Yeah, not a doubt, my friend. Many unbelievable rookies so far throughout this year. HyDra being one of them from New York, needs a major turnaround. An over double negative in that opening hard point. As we are into the search destroy now on Moscow. Yesterday for the Subliners, it was a quick and brisk search and destroy for them, a 6-0 loss versus the Minnesota Røkkr to kick off their stage 4 major. Not the way that you want to do it, Stud, not the way that you'd prefer, but there's a lot of talk coming in about, aSim, his ability kind of being the play caller for this team. It's just seemed that they fell apart after a few rounds got away from him.
Yeah, they did, man. So they need to have a response here, and that's a good opening first blood from Clayster to catch that player in Skyz, who's that island player playing by himself. So now they do have the man advantage, but you see the positioning right here of Havoc. No one's going to know his positioning right now. He's going to be able to come up behind this player in top window, and has the potential to shoot a couple more players in the back as well. So he's going to take that one. Now it's a 3v3 situation. You see New York, they have to try to put their focus onto a player in Havoc who has control of their base. Clayster's going to be able to take down Neptune. Now they have a 3v2. Awakening with the trade. Havoc with 2. So now it's all left up to HyDra. With 20 seconds left, he's going to be able to find one. Now it's a 1v1 versus Havoc, and this is what Havoc lives for, is these 1v1 moments. But 15 seconds left. It's all about playing the clock properly. Havoc doing just that. 10 seconds left. You run in there. Now it's time to check that bomb. It's not going to be enough time for HyDra to get it. And what a play right there out of Havoc. Just hitting that opening, getting behind the enemy lines, and just finding a 2 kills to eventually close out that round. Good first round right there out of Florida.
And that was what we talked about Havoc, last season with the Mutineers. Just his ability to be that route man. As we said, as we always like to mention, route man gets paid, and definitely earning a lot in that moment. Near 1 versus 2 for HyDra. Not like we talk about it so often too with Havoc, like his ability, in prior streams to just, I think it was Clint or somebody mentioned, like, this guy used to basically just play like 1v1 S&D wagers for just hours on end.
Yeah,
so familiar in
like
these
10
spots.
hours a day.
10 hours a day, goodness.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I can only play so many 1v1s before I just want to throw my controller.
Same. I'm right there with you. Like, 2v2s are the death of me. I can never play a 2v2 tournament. This is what Havoc looks forward to. It's just this game mode. Any situation that he's going to be in, he feels like he has the opportunity to always clutch up. So I love to watch him in search and destroy. But back into this round, New York are now on the offense. Clayster trying to at least give some information to his teammates of how many players are going to be playing towards this A-bomb. But you see how aggressive Florida are towards the middle of the map. This cannot work right now for New York if they try to attack this from middle.
Just looking for any bit of information that they can get, but Neptune He had found himself behind enemy lines, takes a shin to the forehead, and Decimate's gonna make him pay for it. He didn't nearly slide away and find the second as well. Awakening has to back on up. Some great plays here from Decimate in the close quarters. They do have to keep in mind Awakening sitting inside of the back boulevard. He's able to handle one onto Mack. Decent play there. Kind of Awakening does at least take one with him. Skyz on the reply. Trades favoring NYSL, but 12 seconds left before the bomb has to get down. And look at the positioning from Havoc! But HyDra, the great reaction up close inside of carpets, puts him down. Granted, I mean, if HyDra at least puts in a few bullets to Havoc, you like like the chances for the teammate to clean it up. Let's watch this one again. Havoc prepared, but HyDra getting, I guess you could say, revenge from that round one there, stud.
Yeah, that one was a little scary, though, because Havoc, he put himself in a great position. New York right there, they just took a little longer than they expected on their offense to eventually work that bomb plant. Good shots right there at a HyDra. He's already 4-0, having a good bounce-back map after that terrible map number 1 so far. As the game is tied at 1 apiece, Florida this time are on the offense. It's looking like they're trying to just take it slow, trying to play for some information as 3 players from New York are going to be stacking over towards this A bomb. 1 player in Mack is going to be playing deep street, just trying to give the information to his teammates of players trying to approach that bomb site. But eventually, just looking at the way the Florida is set up right now, they're probably going to try to attack this from middle map. They're going to force New York to just play mind games. They're going to throw a lot of tacticals towards this A bomb, or at least a lot of noise towards the middle of the map, and then eventually hit the rat back. Because there's just way too much pressure over towards this A bomb. You see Skyz is in this position, trying to give the information to his teammates. But slowly but surely, Florida working up the middle.
It appears that they have their target over toward Eskies. As NYSL decided to go for the rotation, Decimate a little bit late, and as soon as he peeks on out, that's when the guns begin to fire away. 3v3 onto the point, keeping in mind fights going away from this A-bomb side as well. As HyDra's able to deal the damage, now up to 5-0 for him. Granted, Havoc, I believe, did win the 1 versus 1 against Mack. So while these fights are nice over at A, granted, New York, you do get the job done there. Meanwhile, the bomb over at B. Into the 3 versus 2 retake. HyDra and Decimate now in tandem together. Clay looking to give the information for the cross. And here comes the first player. Havoc does manage to take down Decimate. Finds the headshot. But Neptune up close, able to find the first. Can he find the second? He does. Neptune, King Neptune, earning his crown in a wonderful 1 versus 2 clutch. Aware of the players, takes down the first, and also drops his fellow rookie compadre, HyDra.
And that was a 2v3 situation, man. Just watching Neptune, his composure is out of this world, man. 1v2 versus a 3-time world champ. He said, I'm just going to sit right here in this doorway, play for the first kill, and then just challenge the guy in the second. And that's exactly what happened, man. Neptune, great plays right there in the 1v2 to clutch it up for Florida.
And he cancels out the streak
once again,
as well.
Man. Yeah, this is huge plays. As HyDra he dies on that 6-spree, he wasn't able to pick up anything. So now all the pressure for New York is going to come in towards the A-bomb. They're able to open up with the first blood, but good answer right there from Awakening to at least make it a 3v3 situation. Now New York, they do have this bomb control. They can eventually work this plant before Havoc is going to be going on the super long route, just setting up this pinch. They need to try to put this round in their favor and get this bomb down.
I mean, they have everybody. They have players stacking from all angles. From P2, you got somebody in middle and Havoc toward their fountain spawn. And we'll see if this does work out for him. HyDra does get the information. Even Havoc have had a number of different interesting duels, but trying to be somewhat of a distraction. Skyz does win 1 versus Mack. Meanwhile, Decimate through the wall is able to clean up 1. Is it Caesar now in a 1 versus 2? Tagged up, left by himself, and this is going to be a New York round. A quick regain, as they said, you know what, stud, we're not going to go for the late round heroics. We're just going to rush on in. Let's go ahead and send it, and it works out.
Yeah, this is how New York need to play Search and Destroy. They need to be aggressive. 4-man pushing basically everything because their strategies are not going to be there. So they were able to win that round with just pure aggression. They opened up with that first blood and then eventually worked the bomb plant, played their numbers correctly, and are able to walk away with the round. HyDra having such a great bounce back game, sitting at 8-1. Him and Decimate both picking up 2 kills on the round to tie this game up at 2 apiece. Now Florida on the offense. They just love to play it slow. They like to just see if New York are going to try to get aggressive, try to push up onto an angle. And unfortunately, Decemate is going to be able to stay alive here, but the pressure is going to be on as Skyz with a great nade is not going to be able to connect, but opens up with the first blood onto Decemate. Now, Florida have the 3v4 advantage.
Oh, and Clayster as well. He gets found out into the 3 versus 2. Advantage for the Mutineers. Mack and HyDra now left up alive. Problem for them is that they were really the 2 players who were over here at B. They were over toward the street. Great realization out of Florida to go for the rotation and plant down that bomb as HyDra is able to drop 1. And that's probably the one player that you want to take down first, considering how often Havoc can be on the flank. Neptune, can he continue up with this pace and the quick challenge? HyDra, the challenge and the trade. Awakening versus Mack, 18 seconds left. And Awakening is going to try and dip on out, but Mack's not for sure if he went toward back fountain or if he went inside of Skyz. Mack wins the fight. Does he get to the defuse in time? And he does. Mack attack with a major 1 versus 1. We talked about Florida more in the late game scenarios, not as comfortable, but a great situation there for Mack. What a clutch.
Such a great round right there out of Mack. He knows that he had a lot of time to work with. And eventually, Awakening has to check this bomb. He picked up that kill on Havoc with about 20 seconds left. He wanted to wrap back all the way to this base. He was trying to just stay down, play that clock beautifully, but unfortunately get some bad timing there as he thought Mack hopped the bomb, but he played it beautifully. Just pre-aimed straight down that Skyz doorway, able to find that kill and get to the bomb defuse in the nick of time. So New York find themselves up 3-2 now. Great clutch once again out of Mack. Now they're going into another offense, and look at what Clayster is doing, being a little bit more aggressive towards A. Just trying to cause some problems, but the push is going to be a 2-2 split. But Mack opens up with an early first blood. HyDra with the second. Already a 4v2 man advantage in favor of New York with full B bomb control, but they're deciding to wrap this back and go towards that A site.
Just a great play. And in New York, they make some noise at B. They make Mutineers uncomfortable, and they start to scatter. Huge round on the board for Subliners. We talked about their S&D struggles. Yesterday, a 6-0 loss, or rather a few days ago, versus the Røkkr. And find themselves up 4-2. Neptune and Awakening. For the angle, early utility tossed out. Neptune. He's going to be dropped, and now it's all on to Big Wake. 1 versus 4 and another major round here for NYSL. That's 3 in a row.
Just some early first bloods right there for New York. The fact that they were able to at least split the map between both 2 sets of Florida players. They eliminate both those players from B Street. So the guys at A thinking, oh, they got to be committed towards this B bomb. So they wrap back, trying to go over towards that B site. And New York with the great heads-up play, bring it back towards A, get the bomb down, and just play their numbers beautifully. HyDra, 13-2.
Stands out a little bit, doesn't it?
Like, this is great composure out of the young man because he went double negative first map, but this is such a great response. We talked about that composure after losing a map like the way that they did in that map 1, and this is a great answer from the young man.
Without a doubt, a quick frenzy inside of the middle of the map as it will be Florida walking away with the trades, but HyDra once more on the call. Up now to Clay in a 1 versus 2. As they apply the pressure towards Skyz, but the AR duo combining together. We'll see what Clay may have up his sleeve. A swing round for New York, a win here. Cannot begin to talk about it enough. As Clay decides to go for the B site. No visuals as of yet. He's going to quickly run into somebody. He's going to turn around the corner. He's going to spot Skyz. Now into the 1 versus 1. Big Wake versus Clay. Can it be the clutch? There's 30 seconds left. Awakening. He hasn't decided yet. He has not pushed toward one side or the other. This could work out very, very well for Clayster. Like I said, Awakening, he's not even trying to go for a bomb plan as of yet. He has not chosen a bomb. This is, like I said, he has no idea. He has no idea. He's going to go play it.
Yeah, so Awakening right there, he was just wasting time trying to catch Clayster off the rotation if he was going to push to the middle of the map or at least go through the back of their spawn. But he's going to be able to work this B plant. Now in a 1v1, Clayster, he's wrapped the entire map. You got to know where Awakening is going to be in this position. And unfortunately, the challenge is going to come in Awakening. Huge one-on-one versus Clayster to clutch it up. Taking his sweet time in the middle of the map. Like I said, just trying to play off that information. If Clayster is going to rotate to that opposite bomb, Clayster goes through deep street, wraps all the way through the opponent's side of the spawn. Eventually works that bomb plan with a huge one-on-one versus Clayster to keep his team in this game. You know that was a swing round. If New York would have won that, they would be up 5-2. But Florida staying alive, make it at 4-3 now with them on defense.
Yeah. Now on defense, we'll see what New York has up their sleeves. We talked about it constantly for them. The aggressive attacks seem to have favored them a little bit more. At least has put them in more comfortable positions. It appears to be the A site to start. Keep in mind, the 3-man push through middle as Mack is met with a fury of bullets. Drop for the first blood, but the quick answer out of Decimate. HyDra, keeping in mind, he has the bomb, takes down the first, as everybody right in front of him. He gets taken down. Bomb left in an awkward position, but Havoc and Awakening will vend. Go ahead and back on up toward B.
Yeah, Havoc's definitely making this play call. He said, hey, let's hit the full rotation. They're not going to really expect this, even though they're going to slowly play it through the middle of the map. New York still have yet to work a bomb plant. Clayster trying to read these plays if they do push up Eskies, but eventually this bomb's going to go down. Now in a 2v2 situation, Havoc and Awakening versus Clayster and Decimate. Bomb's actually going to be down towards the spawn of Florida. So they're probably going to slow play through the back of the base. And this can be a lot of time consuming for Florida if they cannot put the pressure on it. But you see both New York players sitting on the outskirts of the map. Clayster was able to spot Havoc, but Awakening, he's going to get put down. Now it's left up to Awakening in a 1v2 situation. They take down Havoc. Clayster with the big 2Vs to close out that round. Just great plays right there from New York. Once again, the aggressive offenses have been working out. Even with the man dropping early, they still put the numbers in their advantage and take control of it. Now put themselves up 5-3.
I can only imagine what the comms are like for Mack at that moment. Just like, okay, I see 3 and I'm dead. I'm gone. At least we know there's 3 through the middle. and based off of that communication, as we said, Decimate gets the quick answer with the nade. We've talked about him, his performance. I know, I think yesterday he went triple negative in the S&D. A much better performance here at 6-4. And he was excellent for the Seattle Surge in his short run with them in S&D. Like a 1.2 KD during his time with them. But as we said, New York now 1 round away. They have chosen incorrectly.
Yeah, Florida. Yeah, Florida just have full A bomb control. It's going to be a 4v4 retake on the side of the Subliners. And all 4 players are deciding to wrap back through their base. So Havoc, he's going to be the first line of defense to try to hold these players off or slow them down at least. But a couple shots going to come in. He's trying to get out with his life. He's going to drop. Neptune with the trade. Now in a 3v3. New York double pushing to back alley. HyDra's able to open up with Awakening. So now they can get a little farther pushed up. Skyz is going to have a huge kill, but Clayster is going to take down Neptune. Now Skyz left in a 1v3. 15 seconds left. HyDra's in a great position. All you have to do is stay alive. And New York, they respond. The composure out of New York Subliners on that game was huge, man. Blowing another 100-point lead in that map, number 1. Having a good bounce back to tie this series up 1-1. And you see Clayster, man, really leading the troops, bringing that hype. This is exactly what this team needs. Looks like a totally different New York from when they played versus Røkkr.
Yeah, from a winless S&D versus the Røkkr, now to a big win versus a Mutineers team who has been good in S&D all season long. I want to say they have like around the 4th best, 5th best record in the entire CDL. So they are no slouches to any game mode, specifically one like Search and Destroy. And maybe now kind of going over the communication, a few things that might have went wrong. So that, as you mentioned, it was just once New York got decisive, once they figured out what they wanted to do and in their attacks, once they started to get more aggressive, that is what really changed the tide of this game. How about a great map out of Decimate there? As we said, not a great performance in their first series versus the Røkkr, turning things around so far. As now we sit ourselves at 1-1, and what a game it was from HyDra. 17-4. That's a bounce back and a half, stud.
Yeah, that definitely is, man. He went 13-27 on map number 1, double negative, and he basically goes 4 times positive on this map number 2. So HyDra, he's feeling good, man. Good bounce back map out of him, and good bounce back map out of in general for New York, because once again, they were down by 100 points. I mean, they were up by 100 points and they choked it. And we saw them crumble yesterday in that series versus the Røkkr. Today, they came out on top. They kept that composure on their side and they were able to win that search and destroy. So now this series is tied at 1-1. It can go either way now that New York finally have some momentum underneath their belt.
Yeah, they finally have some momentum, and it's fair to say you do walk away with an S&D. And it's largely in part to this man, HyDra. He's obviously going to be featured in our U.S. Army Tactical Play. Pick one of the kills that you like out of the 17 that we got to witness on display. But man, we're probably going to see a big situation here where, of course, he has a number of different impacts throughout the round. But here in round number 4, Stud, tell me, what do you see?
Yeah, so this is when Awakening, he opens up with one. I mean, they get a first blood, and then eventually it gets immediately traded. So now New York, they know that they have to work this bomb plan. Now, I called it out. They have to make sure that they stay focused on the player in Havoc who is hitting that late flank, and HyDra put himself in a great position to do that. As a bomb goes down, HyDra's going to take control of outskirts. He's going to hold this flank the entire time. Teammates have the back spawns. Teammates have mid-esky, so everything is being watched, but HyDra's just taking his time. He spots out Havoc. Was a huge one-on-one engagement versus Havoc here to put his team in the man advantage, and eventually they just played their numbers correctly. And this is a good job out of New York to make sure that they close out these rounds. Decimate picks up that 1 kill. Then it's all left up to Skyz with about 15 seconds left. The 2v1 challenge is bound to come in, and New York, they just take advantage of the man advantage.
They do. They're taking advantage of the opportunities that they're given. That 17 kill performance ties for the second highest S&D that we have seen this year, from double negative to breaking records. HyDra going big for NYSL in game 2 as we are now headed toward control after this quick break.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Mountain Dew Game Fuel. Pre-order the new Courageous Sherbet flavor now on GameFuel.com while supplies last. Tournament audio and team listen-ins are powered by Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the Call of Duty League. We're live! We've done it! We're live!
We are here for some top elite content. You know, aBeZy reminds me of my reaction when I two-piece somebody who's chatting a load of waffle in league play, and that's what hits me right there. Right across from Bomb. It was just... This is painful to watch. This is actually painful.
This is like one of those iconic Call of Duty moments that's going to live on forever, and we're all going to remember and talk about for a long time.
We are actually going to bring in the incredible Zoomer. Oh, chat already knows. The Woomers are out. Yep, Zoomer. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's bring him in. We're going to call him.
You better not go through.
Ring.
Better pick
Ring. Hey, here he is.
Yo!
I'm just
chat,
gonna throw...
you can help. You can help a little bit. Come on, let's see who you got.
Right,
round one. Help a girl out here.
Oh, here they come.
Chicken palm. I'm not seeing a lot of chicken palm.
I'm not seeing any chicken palm.
I know chicken palm is a little harder to
one
type
chicken palm. One chicken palm.
I'm coming for you, baby.
Yep.
That's
Green.
a lot of green.
Oh, I
Yo.
saw broccolis.
That counts as green. That totally counts.
Until next time, remember, if it's happening in the league, it's on the debrief, baby.
You guys should absolutely check out the debrief, by the way. Some wonderful analysis. We absolutely love to see Miles and Lottie. Although I do think that Miles, in regards to his pick'em stud, have like Surge versus OpTic in his finals, which happens to be our very next game. So, you know, you take it however you'd like, but getting back into this game, we're taking a look at control for both of these teams so far throughout the year.
Yeah, so obviously it hasn't been a good game mode, or at least not that good of a game mode for both of these teams. Florida obviously having a little closer of a record, sitting at 14 and 15. Their KD is a little bit higher, sitting at a 1.0 compared to New York with a 0.98. But just look at the defensive rounds, 40 and 18 on the side of the Florida Mutineers. And this is going to be huge, man, because we know how much New York struggle on that attacking round. 26 and 39. It's not a good response for New York, but they're going into a raid control where New York are sitting at 4 and 8 on the season. And on the opposite side, Florida, who are 2 and 5. And this is actually their worst control map. So this could be a moment where New York can take advantage of this series, because the later two maps, I'm pretty sure it can go either way. They're really close on those final two. So whoever wins this one, I feel like they're going to have that momentum to be able to close it out in 4.
Okay, so you're thinking winner of this game most likely walks away with the series and carries that momentum into the game 4, which would be on Moscow. Excited for it, my friend. I think I definitely agree. I think that absolutely has the ability to be that way. And I know whenever we've talked about New York, granted now with Decimate in place of Asum, I know you've been quite vocal about this. New York, if they want to be when we talk about a top team, but a team that can walk away with the championship, it has to be in this control mode. And it's fair to say that they have struggled most recently in this game since they did bring on HyDra. While the hardpoint has improved and the SD has still remained somewhat consistent, the control has taken a hit. They're 12 and 20 on the year, and so far throughout stage 4, they sit at 2 and 4, hoping to right the wrongs here on Raid.
Yeah, control just hasn't been good for them. It costed them the Major 3 final versus Atlanta FaZe, and then eventually throughout stage 4, they showed a little bit of improvements, but they still ended up losing more than they won. So now they find themselves on the defense. Florida with some early attack onto B, and this is a great play from Florida on this opening break. So they open up with that kill towards middle map, put a little bit more pressure towards B, but New York, they respond. They find 2 kills of their own, make it 3 to shut down that push immediately.
I don't know what it was. That gunfight just like physically caused me pain. Like, New York are out to slay, despite what was a blind counter, if you will, from NYSL over at A. Meanwhile, Mutineers like, okay, cool. It's a little bit quiet over here toward Waterside. We'll try to get as many seconds as we can here over at B. Instantly get shut down. Which started off as an awkward moment on the defense, turns into just more streaks on the NYSL side. These two begin to line up nearly for Clay. Off to a great start, 4-1 for him. Finally, Florida, with 43 seconds paused on the clock, able to get onto a point, the A1 in specific. HyDra going chasing, trying to find players over toward Art. Mack, meanwhile, is cleaning players off of the point. Florida yet to really have any sort of answer. And with 30 seconds left, they've got to make a move quick.
Yeah, they have to. But you see the positioning out of Decimate. He's going to be able to take down one before he drops. So now it's only going to be 2 players from Florida now trying to push through Art. But they have to deal with Mack. Mack is going to be sitting on Raid, and he's the opening kill that they are looking for to try to get onto this point. And that's exactly what's going to happen as Havoc spots him. They're going to back down HyDra from that middle map, and eventually Florida should be able to get on this point. But just a good job from New York, at least early into this game, dominating in the slaying, already up by 8 lives.
You have a few players coming in from pillars, but after Decimate gets dropped, the nice nade comes in from Mack. Awakening's the final player up here. Clay's gonna go for the contest. Big one here would be amazing, and they are able to wipe him off the point. Mutineers now in a moment to scramble. With the spawns they have to force the issue at B. How close they are at that A control point. It has to hurt knowing that you have to leave all that progress behind and have to go for the sacrifice. It has been a dominant defense so far from New York, and they look to pick right up from where they left off. From A to B, you pick whichever point you want. We're gonna roll you on it. On toward driveway, and Mutineers, with just a moment, are able to put another minute on the clock. Very scary situation there for the Mutineers, as they are down big right now in the life count study.
Yeah, they're down big, but you're not really mad about this round for Florida because they were able to get 4 ticks of progression, at least a full capture on A and at least a tick on towards B. So even with them getting outslayed heavily, they still put a good amount of progression on these points, on these objective points, to try to secure that round 5 defense if it does go there. But they're just trying to take their time. New York so far dominating the slaying. You see a couple players from Florida trying to work their way around backside laundry. It's all about fighting through this mid-map. So you see Decimate, unfortunately, he's going to drop. So now the pinch is going to come in from the backside. But Clayster, huge gunfight onto Awakening in towards bedroom. Obviously, they don't have the control there. But now Florida have no more lives remaining as Neptune does drop Havoc as well. Now left in a 2v16 situation. There's no way Florida do this.
Yeah, I like Big Wake. I think he's amazing. Also very tall. Very scary, I'd imagine, in person. But I don't know if he can take down 15 players in one foul swoop, as it will be NYSL answering early. And I guess that we talked about attack could be a problem for New York. Their defenses haven't been great. Meanwhile, for Florida, attack has been excellent. And what, that 40-18 record now gets an extra loss to it. I mean, if it wasn't for a last-second play where Skyz is able to stay on the point with just like, what, 1 or 2 seconds left, this one we talked about is just a very, very convincing round on the side of the Subliners. As you mentioned, Florida, they do get a full tick, and rather a full point, if you will, and it will sit nicely with them throughout the game, but it cannot take away from what was a very one-sided affair in regards to kills.
Yeah, and now New York, they find themselves on the offense, where they have been struggling the entire time. So how is their initial break going to be? The earlier progression is going to be up towards this B point as HyDra opens up with the first blood. Neptune with the trade, but that should get traded. So now the opening is towards this B point. Mack's going to slide on, trying to stop this clock. It should open the opportunity for his teammates to go towards A as well, as the pressure is already going to be here at B. Both players do drop, and now you see a couple Subliners players fighting through the middle of the map, trying to take control of A so they can extend this time by a minute.
And with HyDra's positioning, you like New York's chances, but with that, Skyz does find the kill. I was going to say, you like NYSL's chances to grab this point as they've got 2 out of the 3 lanes locked up. With that 1v1 win, Skyz is able to at least delay things for the moment. That gets dropped as well. It is a number of different players dropping, but Clay wins the fight. And with that, New York will continue on with their capture over here at A. Clay starting this one off 14-5. Not too bad, stud. Not too bad.
This is the leader. This is Father Time right here, stepping up in the big moments, and this is exactly what he needs to do for this young team.
What do you call him? Old Jimmy? What is it? Old
Jim?
Old
man Jim. Yeah, old man Jim. Let's go, Father Time. You're stepping up, man. 14-5 currently on the 3 spree. You have a 2 live advantage, and you see all of New York approaching through the backside of launcher. They're trying to flip these spawns. They're trying to open up with a couple kills and force them to spawn behind them. But here comes Havoc on the pinch, able to take down one. The pressure's still going to be here as his teammates in Awakening is going to come up from basketball steps. Fortunately, he's going to drop, but now it's time for Havoc to make the play. He's able to take down HyDra as well. There's still 2 players in their spawn, but Havoc just causing so many problems on the backside is going to slow down that push from New York.
Yeah, and that's huge. That's going to read as a 1 kill, 1 death type of situation in the scorecard. But what he does there on the flank totally halts any progression that NYSL could have had. And now with minute and 10, HyDra actually falls off the map. So as we said, calling Clay his dad and maybe learning from his father as well. As Decimate's now left all by himself, sitting on the 4 spree, keeping things in mind. It would be nice if you at least don't walk away with the round, then maybe have a streak or 2 throughout the remainder of this raid. But waiting for his teammates to come off the spawn, they're finally here, and into the fights we go. 45 seconds on the clock. New York, what a great attack this could be for them. We're into the team fight. Neptune walking away with the first, somewhat of a slower start to this game for him, as Decimate is able to find his 5th. They're on to Skyz. Slowly but surely poking away at this Mutineers defense. Have to make a move soon. Awakening still sitting inside of their mansion. He's relying on his teammates to find the kills inside a kitchen, but that's not happening. That's now going to be 3 kills in a row. Neptune, the only player left onto the point as the stack starts to come in. 2 players there. Clayster slowly but surely making sure no one is going to be on the flank. Time halted for a moment. Another team fight. Florida have some time still to work with. In regards to this defense, they have enough players off of spawn, and thankfully for them, New York have not applied too many over toward this side, but the fights, the kills, they continue to go in their favor, but that's going to be 2 in a row. A big double here out of the Mutineers. They may have been able to handle business. What seemed like a great sequence that was brewing from the Subliners does not turn into anything solid.
Yeah, so right there in that situation, when they got 3 down and the last player was in towards basketball, you need to have more of a stack going. You need to put the pressure on Florida to try to fly in immediately, not give them time to pick you guys apart. And that's just something that they were not prepared for right there. You had a player who was watching middle P5, watching towards pillars if any players were going to overextend. And then one player in the kitchen who was watching that rotation back, and Florida with a great play, just 4 hit out towards basketball. Slowly pick them apart and just keep that time staggering, keep the kills staggering, and eventually we're able to pick them all apart individually to tie up that round. But if New York, they end up with a stack right there, I feel like they have a better chance at closing that one out, because Florida, they have to put some pep in their step, and eventually kills will not get picked apart there. But New York, unfortunately, they lose that round. So now Florida tie it back up, but Florida back on the offense. We saw what New York were able to do last time, is completely dominate in the slaying department. Can they do it again?
A nice gunfight win from Decimate. He has taken over so far throughout these 2.5 rounds of control. But as you said, kind of getting back quickly to that round number 2. Just, you talked about it in the S&D, and I guess you could say it applies to the control. Just a lack of aggressiveness, a lack of decisiveness. You're there to make the play. New York, whenever they speed things up. We talked about the Slayers and the Mutineers side. There is just some unbelievable talent for New York as well. Whew. Talent across the board as Awakening puts on full display. Why we do call him Big Wake. Whether it's Miami or whether it's Raid, the water side seems to always be dominated by him. As into the attack, the nice cover fire comes through from Havoc, but now it leaves Big Wake all by himself. Spree looks to be ended, and it ends, I guess you could say, in somewhat of a familiar territory.
Yeah, and you're not really mad about that either, because Florida, they were able to at least get 2 progressive ticks towards that B point. That's all about just trying to eliminate this player out of their base in Clayster, because he's causing so many problems. He's having them all spawn towards water sides, so they consistently had to just sprint up towards that B street. But now with 25 seconds left, Clayster giving up that driveway is going to give them these spawns to try to get out towards that A point. But he's still causing problems as he was able to take down Awakening. Now the pressure is going to come in from Florida on towards this A point, but you see the way that New York are trying to attack this. They're trying to play off this spawn kill. They're trying to set up the pinch. And Awakening, he's going to give up his position, but the double chow is going to be here. He's going to lose that engagement, but so far his teammates done a great job of just staying alive on this point until I say that Mack is actually going to take down Skyz, so the clock is going to continue ticking, but eventually Neptune's going to win that gunfight and slow down that time. Still putting progression in towards this A point.
But these have not been easy, Stud. And I know that we did see Mutineers off the start get some good time over at B, but these have not been easy attacks for Florida. They have had to work for every single bit of map control that they have got. NYSL a second away from claiming the early defense. The Mutineers have bought themselves another minute to work with. One more point. Awakening starting things off nicely, getting HyDra, at least for the moment, out of the picture. We know the impact a player like him can have off of spawn. Thank you very much. They'll take down 2, and now Mutineers left for 1 or 2 good more pushes as they look to siphon on in toward the kitchen.
Yeah, so they're not fighting for BEP control. They're trying to take control of kitchen, spawn these players out to spawn out towards back laundry. But you see number 1 in Decimate. He was able to spot one player rotating through the middle of the map, so he's going to be able to flank kitchen. And Decimate might be able to make this play right here. He's going to shut down this push right here from Florida. He takes down 1. The engagement, he knows that 2 players are going to be in kitchen. It's all about playing your life, setting up HyDra, installing enough time, and that's exactly what he does as the trades do come in. But on the opposite side, Florida take down 3. So now it's all about just putting the pressure on. Clayster still has control of Tiki, and Awakening still putting on some spawn kills, but Clayster just causing so many problems in this Tiki area. Florida had to try to take him down to get onto this point.
Have to indeed. 5 seconds left. The 3 versus 3 on to the point. Mutineers, they've got to make something happen quickly. As Havoc's on in, no respawns left. Is that even going to come into fruition? Is that even going to matter? And the answer is no. Mutineers in the final stages. Door shut right in their face. Coming down to the wire, a better attacking performance from the Mutineers, but once more, it is New York blaming things here on Raid. It's a solid attempt.
So now New York, when they go into the next offense, right there, Florida were able to capture 5 different progressive ticks on both points. So they are up by 5 ticks right now. So New York, they need to try to at least match that so they can have the ability to go into a defense in that round number 5, because their attacking rounds are just not that good. But Clayster having a great map so far, sitting at 23 and 15. Mack as well, 21 and 14. Stepping up in this game number 3 so far. So you're going to have New York putting that pressure on towards this 8 point. 3 players from Florida actually trying to attack through middle. And Clayster, good heads-up play, gonna give that call out to his teammates and prepare for that flank.
Coming into this 4th round, Mutineers getting outslayed by 18 kills. So far, New York putting on full display. We hold this team in such high regard in that particular department as Clay now inside of the flank. Teammates do get cut down in regards to the objective, but here comes Mack. 22 and 15, having a great performance into a quick 1 versus 1. It's the duel, but Awakening's able to win it. A nice gun engagement there for Big Wake as he will clear the point for the time. He and Neptune dealing all the damage that they can over for P1. It's the stick on the Decimate before he runs off into the shadows. And NYSL setting up something inside of middle.
Yeah, they're trying to push through kitchen. They have to try to get out towards this B point because the positioning of Awakening is so hard to get him out of that raid positioning. So now it's all about working through the middle of the map. Clayster wins a huge gunfight towards lower B, but he's going to have a second one right in front of him as the player in Havoc is going to be sitting towards top bedroom. Clayster, this is a huge one-on-one. They're just going back and forth, and eventually Havoc's going to win it. So now Clayster's going to drop. They eliminate Decimate from the middle of the map. HyDra still has kitchen control. But right now, they just have New York scattered. They do not know which point they want to go for yet, as they do eliminate that player in Havoc at that B water steps. Now it's all the pressure is going to come in towards this B point.
Pressure is in. We'll see the Mutineers, the arrows off of spawn. Look to try to set up for what is a stack now on the point. 2 players inside. Slowly but surely making its way in. 13 seconds left. You just need 1 delay if you're the Mutineers. But can they break in? Clay with a nice kill on the Havoc. What can Florida try and do? You see some gun engagements going down over at A. That was Neptune who's able to win it there, but they have to get the job done at B. Nothing answering yet, and that's a big double there from Mack. Now on 5 in a row. Nearly finds a 6, but he'll set up Decimate for the nice assistance. B point captured there for New York. Minute to work with for them. 2 ticks away from closing out this control. 2 players coming in from Art, 2 in from Kitchen. Skyz unfortunately kills himself with the nade. That could be the lane. That could be the opening, the opportunity for NYSL to close out this round. They've got some control. They get the close spawn. They get the close spawn as well.
Just stack on it, man. Don't play for these kills. Allow them to just push out laundry. You cannot let this happen again. But New York, they respond. They are able to get 3 down. Now it's all left up to Skyz. That's going to be 4. And New York, the sack's going to come in, and they should be able to close it out here.
And they will. New York, the stack toward the stretch. Some big plays. And Clay, he's getting loud. He's letting him know. And you love to see it. It's been over a year since we've been able to see players on the stage get loud. And Clay trying to instill his team with some momentum. They come out firing in this control. And despite how great that the Mutineers team has been on attack, despite how great that they have been in this control mode, and as it's been a struggle for NYSL, they are able to rebound. Now up 2-1. Instead, you came into this one, you came into control saying, hey man, this is a big momentum game. We talked about this, game mode in particular, how it can set the tone. Clay leading the way 13 and 19, being an example for the roster, as now they are set up in a wonderful spot, coming into a mode that they like quite so well, little hardpoint.
And this is great for New York, man. What a response in that control. They were able to win an attacking round, and it was just the early progressions they were able to develop on that B point. Great job out of Mack to pick up that 2-piece, because if he doesn't pick that up, they won't be able to secure that. And then if they go to a round 5, without that extra progression tick, they would have had offense. But New York, they clutch up. You see Clayster getting hype, and this is the man that we were waiting for him to start stepping up for the team, being the leader, giving that energy, and right there he showed it.
Leading by example, New York. One more game away. Do we see a game 5, or is this one done on a good old hard point? It is Moscow when we come back after the break.
Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been 400 plus days since we've got to see hype like this on the main stage. Clay letting the Mutineers know that we know Clay, obviously an experienced player on the stage, and never is shy to let the opponents know whenever he's rolling.
Oh man, and I love that out of Clayster. This is what I was waiting for. LAN is back. You need to get back to that energetic form, old man, father time. Just doing all the yelling, just getting into the opponent's minds, just mind games, man. And right there, he was saying to the team when he stood up, man, we are a pickup team. He's just letting them know, man, that you guys should be beating us. This should not be going the way it's going right now. But New York, they find themselves up 2-1, and now they're going into a Moscow hardpoint where both of these teams really enjoy this map. On one side, you have New York, who are 7-3. On the opposite side, you have Florida, who are 7-4.
Okay.
But I think that this map is all going to come down to the ARs and how disciplined they can play, because we know how Clayster can play on this map. It's real annoying. Like, the guy's gonna be rotating with 30 seconds in, just making sure he's camping in the back, just making sure he's making the right plays, the fundamental plays to try to close out this game for his team.
Yeah, and as we take a look quickly at our Checkmate Hardpoint Game 1 stats here for the Mutineers, I mean, we talked about it. It was Neptune taking over 37 and 15, Awakening 25 and 18.
Unbelievable.
Both these guys go on a 10 spree, and I know often we talk about Neptune, it's usually with the SMG, but on Checkmate, he was pulling out the Krig. He says, you know what, it actually does live up to the hype. It is quite good on LAN, in fact. So, as we said, looking at the ARs, but you never know who could be bringing that one out on a map like Moscow, but it's gonna be fun. And the Mutineers extend us to 5, or will New York rally back off of the search and destroy victory? A big win in the control, and really, like I said, they came on that control. They were firing, man. Like there was a few different situations with the Mutineers. It looked like it was a 50-50 type fight, and the Subliners were winning every single one of them. We'll see if they can finally do it here. It would be the first major series on LAN for both HyDra and Mack on a professional level, making their debut here in Stage 4 Major. See if they can get the job done, but you can never count out this Florida group. So good and so consistent across every single mode as we are in toward P1.
You can just see the initial break off for Florida. They're trying to take control of Skyz, but early pressure from New York is going to be on this P1 hardpoint. They did a great job on Checkmate, just dominating P1, but unfortunately HyDra is going to stick his teammate in Decimate in the back with a nade. So now that's going to slow down the pressure from New York, but they have to keep in track of where Havoc is going. Havoc already is trying to flip these spawns through the front side of P2. Decimate, he's going to spot him, but the engagement's going to be in. Havoc's going to open it. There's not a place where he has to wrap back and try to win this, but Havoc, a great two-piece to flip these spawns. You're going to see both New York players spawning all the way out towards P3, and Florida, they get the flip, they get the break. Good time left on this P1, but the big picture here is making sure that you have those spawns for P2 to get a full 60.
And those are just great shots that connect there from Neptune. Keep in mind, it is going to be a quick engagement now already onto the point into a 2 versus 2. Florida have done just enough, and with that kill, but it's going to slow down the Subliners. Havoc making the plays to start a back and forth over at P1, which you'd like to expect, but Routman getting paid. Great start here for Colt Havoc. Greasy indeed, as that's going to be 3 straight down for New York.
And with 45 seconds left, all of New York spawning towards street. They have 1 break to try to get into this. It's a good chunk of time here, so you don't want to give this fully to the side of Florida, as the pressure is going to come through the middle of the map. Clayster takes down 1, but 2 kills are going to go in favor of Florida. They're still doing a great job of just keeping the kills staggered. They're able to spot 1. Awakening with 2 is going to put him at a 4 spree ready to start this game. Remaining 20 seconds should go in favor of Florida, and you already have a player off that rotation in Neptune. He's going to have a huge one-on-one versus HyDra. And they have just done a great job of just getting all these kills off their rotation, forcing all of New York to spawn out back at that P2.
Yeah, just continuing to make the plays, continuing to make the smart calls, valuing the objective as the entire crowd of the Subliners group up right on into the point. HyDra and Co here, but it's Awakening, by the way, 5-0 to start. He's yet to die. Flawless beginning from Big Wake. Put in a few shots from behind, eliminating trophies, and that will be the nice little wipeout to start. Subliners were grouped up. They were ready. They were prepared coming in toward the front. But once again, it is the clever plays, the map positioning out of the Mutineers that allows for them to win on out. And it's not just Awakening, it's also Havoc. Now 4 in a row for him. Everybody going off as HyDra finally is able to silence him.
Yeah, so with 25 seconds left, New York, you cannot lose this next rotation. You have to make sure you get over towards that bank side. You see HyDra in this position that he is. Clayster, Mack able to take down 2. HyDra eliminates that player from the back. So that's going to be a clean 4 dead. So this remaining time is going to go to them. Now it's all about off that rotation. And you see HyDra. He's going to be that player in towards the bus side, already in this position to cut down these players. But he's actually going to drop off that. Neptune and Skyz are able to find 2. And now New York have to work their way through bank.
We'll see if that can fare for them. Yet again, Havoc ready to be the first player in their face. Been so great in this game, and as we said, set the team up quite well for spawns. Been the overall difference maker in regards to the score up to this point. And speaking of points, Mutineers continue to pile them on. Skyz now answering back. That's going to be a nice double for him. 7 and 3 for Caesar. Pulls the number 2 KD in hardpoint, the number 1 so far throughout stage 4. Returning back to that MVP form as it takes, what, 4 or 5 players to finally get him off the point.
Yeah, but New York, they do a great job of just not giving up all this time right here to Florida. With 15 seconds left, it's all about just trying to set up off that rotation for P1. So we're going to have a huge engagement between HyDra and Neptune towards eSky side. They're running around each other right now, but HyDra's actually going to slip through. He's going to go through. He's trying to flip these spawns immediately before this P1 even starts. And so far, he's done a great job at it as 2 players from Florida spawn all the way out towards that deep street at P4.
You see Neptune, this could be a big challenge. If Neptune's able to win it, that will now focus for Subliners the attention toward the back. So 3 players entering from the front. Neptune still alive toward the backside. We'll see how New York can look to try to handle what is some unknowns, and that's going to be a second for Neptune. Florida still hanging out, and they're also getting time as well over at P1, putting New York in somewhat of an awkward position. Finally loses the fight, but at the very least, Neptune's positioning stalls New York off of P1, and now they're spawning toward Boulevard. A great little sequence there for Florida. A big moment for them in this game. Live on the line here at the stage 4 major, as we'll now go to an Astro listening with the Mutineers.
Watch out, PC, watch out. He's still hiding P2 to the left, He went to the right, now. Watch in the back from the EP. Someone in top, left side of top. Dead in back. Left side of top. Watch out, Standy, kill him. Top PD, watch out.
Back.
I got him.
I'm in the back.
We're missing one PD.
Yeah, we're missing one. I don't know if he's PD though. He's not.
One is for me.
He's out to top, HyDra.
He's blind spot me. Help me front. Watch out, no. Laying down. He's close right.
No, and one back fucking PD, back PD.
Alright, we're good.
Yeah, just rotate and get a 60, bro. Rotate and get a 60. Rotate.
He pushed out half wall.
He pushed out half wall.
He's playing to kill them. Yeah, just
help me front.
Yeah, I can try to front.
They're front, I think they're front.
Oh, they can be, but I have all fucking street.
I didn't flash anything yet.
Flashing.
Lobby. Go back up.
Back up, Caesar, back up.
I am. You're good. I need him. Somebody needs to help Joe, Bueno.
I'm good.
Give me lobby. Come to lobby.
Watch my front, guys.
Go on time, Bueno. Go the fuck outside. I have a trophy.
Are they short already? No, big on me.
It could be, yes, it could be.
Okay, big Clay. One my cam. He's in mid.
Hold it.
Yeah, watch me.
New York, they brought themselves back in the middle of that P2 exchange. I think someone fell off the map. I really have no idea how you do that on Moscow, but regardless, now we're covered in toward Fountain in Florida in a good position. They wipe away the first wave of Subliner players. Everybody starting to get some momentum, starting to get in stride, and this could be scary if Mutineers are able to walk away with the final 40.
Yeah, and the way that they're holding this right now is just good work from them, but 2 kills are going to go in favor of New York. You're still going to have those spawns coming in for Florida towards that back library side. But so far, the pressure is here from New York from the front side. They probably think that one player is going to be setting up the pinch, but no. They're still spawning out towards back library. 20 seconds remaining on this. You need to try to get this time here if you're New York. But Awakening causing so many problems. Havoc eventually with the trade. Florida is going to be able to get this remaining 10 seconds and get closer to that 250-point mark. But New York already on the rotation. Huge gunfight wins from Mack. He needs to try to stay alive in this position.
Yeah, and this just has to be a huge hill for Subliners. You can't afford to give the point away or just allow for it to be contested. You have to play well at Boulevard. Meanwhile, Clay is trying to secure spawns for P2, thinking about the future. Subliners given the scoreline, if they can have a good boulevard, you talk about play well at P1, they could set themselves up for a nice little comeback. But how do the Mutineers look to try to counteract this? Once again, another nade comes through from Decimate. Clay puts 2 headshots together in a row. But Mutineers still with the spawns are able to hop into the point quite quickly. 25 seconds left again for New York. You have P2 ready to go, but you cannot afford to allow for these seconds to get away empty-handed. You see HyDra looking for a challenge, looking for an angle, but he's just not able to get one. Finally goes for it, but it's Mutineers still winning the fights over toward the point. Still walking away with the majority of these gun engagements as the final few ticks come to a close. And another big 1v1 actually comes in play. Number 4, Mack goes big versus Neptune. Both teams spawning somewhat of the opposite side of the map. He wins that fight, and now he gives New York better map positioning.
Yeah, so they have the spawns now. It's all about winning these engagements in towards the point. And Decimate was able to take down 2. He will get traded, but you cannot give up this time to Florida. They can win off of this P1 hard point, so you have to contest this the entire time, but also do a great job of just keeping these spawns to get back into this game off of that P2. Right now, Florida, they're just not contesting. They are staying down in this hard point. They're making New York try to work, overextend to try to pick up some of these kills. As they do find 3, make it 4. They're going to spawn all of Florida towards that top Eskies. And with 20 seconds left, one player, Neptune's actually going to spawn out the back. The aggression is just way too much right there on the side of New York. So Neptune, he's going to be that player to make this play for Florida. Mack has no idea that he's going to be in this position, and once Havoc gets that kill and Decimate also is going to drop, they're going to spawn across the map. So now they know that something is up. Mack is going to finally find Neptune in towards the back, but here comes the pressure from Florida. 3v2 off the rotation. This is going to be hard. Mack has to try to go big on the backside.
Big opportunity for Mack. How great has he been so far in stage 4, continuing to go big for the team. That's going to be 3 shut down for the Mutineers. Havoc through the wall. Yeah, why not? Clayster puts in some support fire, and so there we go. Subliners
Max on a 5.
clearing away the early advantage. As you said, that could be massive coming in toward Fountain. If Mack is able to earn those streaks, valuing his life, now up to 6. Gotta stay on board with Mack. It's the assistance there for what could have been the 7th. Final 20 seconds are gonna go the way of Subliners. Mutineers ready for the rotation, but again, we talk about it. Florida, they can close out the game here, but a streak from Mack could ruin everything. It could totally change up this game. As he sits alongside of his teammates, how do they set him up for success while also trying to value the hill, while also trying to value the hard point? It's going to have to be a challenge on the Skyz, potentially. Players coming in from both angles. Havoc tosses out the nade. Meanwhile, and Mack does earn the streak, earns the 7th, and there with that, the Subliners as well. Find a majority of kills. They flip the spawns, and that's going to be double streaks as well for Mack. 234, 177. Subliners somehow, some way, staying alive in this game.
This is looking like map 1. I'm telling you, like Florida, they were up by 100 points, and New York are slowly trying to climb back into this. Mack picking up these streaks are so huge. Once they go to that P4 hard point, Mack on a 10 spree, coming alive later into this game, trying to allow New York to stay alive and push themselves through this series. The streak is going to come in with 15 seconds left. Actually, the comms are going to come in. He's going to let everyone on his team know where Florida are deciding to approach this next hard point from. He's going to drop on ult, but the cruise missile is going to be in. His teammates have to win these engagements towards Bank, and Decimate, he's going to be able to take down 2. Havoc is going to drop as well, so now the pressure is going to be in from Gold. New York, they have the spawns. They have to get on this time. 207 to 234. New York can still do this.
They have the opportunity to. They bring it within 20. The excellent streak usage. Keeping in mind, Mack still has another streak ready to go. Havoc looking for the flank. Route man. Can he do it again? But Clayster's there to read him. What a massive challenge that is from Clay. Game nearly tied as the Subliners will take the lead in this game. Down 70, 80 points. They have brought it back, and they can win it here. Everybody from the Mutineers trying to make a play. They're relying on someone to try to get the job done, but they're getting taken down. They're getting dropped. They're getting silenced. 10 seconds away, and here comes the extra streak. They're lined up on the boulevard for Mack. What a turnaround it has been for him. Clay puts in 2. The streaks are down, and the Mutineers have got one last look. Can anybody get here in time? It's now for the rotation. They did just enough to get us toward P1, and Florida are here. Mutineers set up. Can Mack do it again? into P1. The challenges are in. It's Decimate. It's Decimate with 2. He at least keeps us for the moment. 243, 242. It is a 1-point game. SMGs. Decimate trying to go big right now for the team. But can Clay make the play? Players dying on side of the point. He has to do something. Finds the first. It's Awakening there for the trade. In Florida, Mutineers, they get it done toward the stretch. What a game. What a close. New York bring it back, but Mutineers do just enough to send us toward P1. And that is how we get to a P5. Oh my God, I can't breathe. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, Stud.
Oh my God, what a hard point that was between both teams, man. New York, they had the opportunity to close it out, man. Towards those final moments, all they had to do was just stay down on the hill. But Awakening, he did such a great job at just taking that player off of that P4, staying alive for the majority of the time, just having Clayster post up in the bus, thinking that one of his teammates were going to eventually fly onto the point to secure that game. But once New York realized there was only 9 seconds left, they could no longer win here. They can no longer win there. So now it comes down to that P1 rotation, and Florida, they did just enough to make sure that they can force it to get there. And that was just unbelievable, man. Let's just go right back into it. Yeah. We got to get right back into this, man. 239 to 234. You see Mack in this position. Awakening was able to take down Decimate. So the streak is going to come in, but Neptune, he eliminates that player in HyDra from gold. So they still have that positioning there. Clayster finds 2, and they realize with 7 seconds left, they can no longer win here. So Florida, they put themselves in a position to set up off the rotation, and they win a majority of these gunfights initially. Mack opens up with 1, Awakening with the trade. The pressure starting to come in from gold. Decimate almost makes the play, man. He's able to take down 2, and he plays his life beautifully here. Still a very close game. And you see the route out of Clayster right here. He's going to take his time to go all the way around through B2, trying to just wait for his teammates to stay alive. This is something that New York needed to do, was just stay alive on this side of the map, give enough time for Clayster to eventually set up this pinch. But they drop. Eventually, it's Mack and Clayster going back and forth for the trades, and they both lose their one-on-ones. Florida are able to hold, man. What a hard point, man. What a hard point.
Mutineers on the brink of elimination. A near 70, 80-point comeback from the Subliners gets shut down, as now we have got ourselves a Game 5. Get the popcorn ready. Get the game fuel close. It is going to be a banger. It's Express, Search, and Destroy. Loser of this game goes home. Winner advances to playoff against Dallas in just a few hours from now. Stay with us, as we'll be back right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Call of Duty League Stage 4 Major. What a series it has been to start our 5-game Saturday. NYSL and the Mutineers sending us the distance to a Game 5 after what was one of the best hardpoints that we've seen this season. All right, into the Game 5 we go. Let's talk about how both of these teams, Study, have been at Game 5 so far throughout the season. If you look at it, it's NYSL 7-2, leading in every single category.
They are dominating, man. That record 7-2, 1.15 KD. Their attacking rounds are beautiful. The defensive rounds are a little bit not as good as their attacking rounds, but they're still up there. But the only thing you got to think about with New York is they are missing their shot caller, man. Asim is not here. Even though they won that game 2 Search and Destroy, it was just a tremendous effort from HyDra. He had 17 kills on that map. He needs to have basically the same exact performance here if they want to try to win this. That aggression is what works for them with this new pickup team. They need to keep that on this map number 5.
And take a quick look at how socials react to this. Our Astro Social soundboard, another fantastic hardpoint. What a match this is. Game 5, hashtag CDL 2021. He's also using both of our teams' hashtags. That's what you got to do at this point, man. You just gotta give like a round of applause to the way that both of these teams have played. Mutineers coming out strong. They clutch up in the hardpoint. Meanwhile, NYSL is still playing without their full official team. Like, they've been playing with aBeZy the entirety of the season, and now they're coming into this and they're going to have to rely, Stud, on another search and destroy. We talked about it. They lost that game 1. It was a matter of, okay, well, New York, I mean, how do they get out of this one? How do they get out of this sticky situation? They win the S&D, a mode that they got 6-0'd on by the Røkkr in their first game. The reason why they're in this situation is because of a 3-0 loss. It was because of the lack of clutchness in the hardpoint that was specifically in that search and destroy, and now it's a mode that they have to rely on not once, but twice.
Yeah, and it's going to be difficult, man, because both teams, they really enjoyed this map. NYSL sitting at 6-4 in the season, Florida sitting at 7-5. But for New York, man, when you think about that missing piece in the team, he is that guy that's opening up with first bloods. He's always putting that aggression towards Ticket and just making sure that he's playing his life beautifully. So someone, it's either Decemate or HyDra that needs to fill that role. Clayster, he's going to have a huge role being that island player, setting up these late flanks. He needs to go big as well in this game number 5.
Well, this was a rematch from Stage 4. Both these teams competed. It went to a Game 5. It was an express S&D. It was New York who were able to win it 6-2, and the guy who led the way for him, aBeZy, finished 11-4 in that game. Oof. No longer with the collar, and maybe experiencing what it's like to not have that super aggressive in-your-face SMG, as down goes HyDra, quickly now left into a 1 versus 4. Wow. And how about that? Mutineers, an exclamation point to start.
Such a great round right there out of Florida. They match the aggression, and some early shots come into Neptune, but he's able to get that kill somehow with a centimeter of life in his back pocket. He finds one. Eventually, the second kill comes in onto Mack. Then it's all left up to Clayster. Such an aggressive, tone-setting round for the Florida Mutineers right there to go up 1-0.
That's the way you want to do it, right? We talked about how what kind of throughout the Moscow S&D, it was a matter of, teams trying to show off how great that they can be, how aggressive that they can be, and that is the way that you want to see it if you're a Mutineers fan. And great in early round, as now we'll get to witness what they like to do on attack, and maybe continuing up with that aggressive play style. It is an all-out brawl over toward B. Meanwhile, the Subliners hanging out toward middle tracks, but take a look at that. Decemate and HyDra in on the flank, but Skyz is going to be prepared for it. Says it's a little bit too quiet here. The push does slow down. 2 players coming in from multiple directions if you're the Subliners. And as Neptune decides to chow this, instantly enters on in, and that's going to be a trade won by Florida. It's the read onto HyDra as well, and how about this start from Neptune? 6-0, finally gets shut down, but to no avail. His impact is left in these first 2 rounds. Can it be a 1 versus 3 clutch for the new guy?
So now Decemate with 35 seconds left. He knows that the bomb is going to be down towards this B bomb. How does he decide to approach this? He's going to attack to the middle. Unfortunately, he gets caught in a nade, but the stick is going to come in, so the bomb is not going to go down. It's a 1v1 versus Awakening. He put some early bullets into him, so he's going to have the advantage in this gunfight. It's all about just keeping that pressure. He has the assault rifle. You have to challenge up close and personal. And Decimate going huge for New York. The new guy, the pickup player, stepping up in this game 5 with a huge 1v3 clutch to tie it up at 1 apiece.
How about the clutch? We talked about the start. It was Neptune who ruled over toward the site. And in the big games, in the biggest game so far for the Subliners, and around that meant everything. Decimate goes huge. A 1 versus 3. Known for his S&D prowess, he showed that with the Surge. And now in just his second match, goes big to bring us now to a 1-1. It's been aggressiveness to start. Will that continue? A 3-1 setup for the Mutineers. And really, Awakening backs off, not necessarily because of what he saw, but because of what his teammates do not see. Speaking of seeing, he's got a nice
New York,
angle.
they're doing the same exact play. They're doing the same exact play, man. Clayster causing some problems over here at that B bomb, and he's able to open up with that first blood. So the A plan is actually going to come in soon for New York as they eliminate those trophy systems on that side of the map. Clayster putting some early shots down onto Skyz, but look at the positioning out of Neptune. Neptune makes his way through the backside of the train. He knows that Clayster's behind him. But Clayster actually working up through the middle of the alley. So Awakening and Neptune, they're going to cross right in front of each other. Like, where did Clayster go? And he's still in such a great spot to cause problems for them. As the pinch is going to come in, Max is able to take down Skyz on their side of the map. So now they know that something is up. Both players have to be flanking. Neptune's able to take down one, but here comes Clayster back into that one, able to eliminate him. Now it's Awakening in a 1v3.
Clay and the young guys can't really keep up. And just as he says that, Awakening's there for the shot. Positioning advantage toward the Subliners as Awakening's going to have to pull off something special. A 1 versus 3 and arguably in a much more unpredictable spot than Decimate. Back-to-back rounds going the way of New York, but as you said, my friend, just trying to look for Clay. The flank was in, but nobody could spot him.
They just couldn't find him, man. He opens up with that first blood, gets out with his life, and then just forces 2 players on the side of Florida to keep on looking for him. And at that point, they're just wasting so much time. He was able to just work his way up the middle of the map and then eventually find that kill onto Neptune. Someone on Florida's side spawn in and help this young man. He's sitting at 7-2. Havoc and Awakening only sitting at 1, but we're only 3 rounds into this, so they have some time to get back into it. So but right now, Florida, the attack is going to come through the middle map. The aggression for New York is going to be at that A bomb. So they're just trying to find a couple players from New York being a little bit more aggressive. But as of right now, it's looking like it's going to be a rotation back to B. Clayster's going to have a huge play. He has to try to play his life and get out with it, or at least take down one.
Look at Havoc. Nice positioning. Decimate not at all aware that Havoc is going to be around the corner. As Clay wins the first engagement, Decimate yet again. That's now going to be 5 in a row. 2 players shut down in major spots. NYSL winning their 1v1s as now that bomb is left in a pretty awkward spot for the Mutineers. He said Neptune to start and he needs some support. They're not going to get it yet. And now Decimate, 1 kill away from streaks already. They're going to allow for Mack to enter in first, and he gets shut down quickly. 20 seconds left, and again, they're just trying to tag him up. They want to allow for Decimate to walk away with this kill, like a caged animal almost is Awakening. He's just trying to do everything he can to stay alive. 8 seconds left, and like I said, this is just a matter of can the streak come in, and they find another one for Decimate. HyDra's able to win it. It's now 3 in a row for New York.
Man, New York, this is a pickup team, but their S&D is on point, man. The teamwork between just the submachine guns right now out of Decimate and HyDra, they're all over the map. Even with Decimate, the positioning right there out of Havoc, such a heads-up play to just take his time and eventually close out that kill. So now New York find themselves up 3-1. Decimate 1-off streaks. These are huge if he can pick these up. The newcomer coming in town and really setting the tone for New York right now is having himself a game. As the pressure is going to be a 2-2 split. Clayster's still causing a little bit of noise at this B bomb. So you're going to have 3 players from Florida at this bomb site. But they're just waiting. New York right now just trying to catch some aggressive plays coming in from Florida. But Florida are taking their time. They're thinking that they're going to go A. And this is the perfect time to hit that rotation towards that B bomb.
See if they do it. They're still convinced. They want to make a push toward A. Again, Mack and Decimate scouting for information. And as they go for the rotation, Just a matter of what do the Florida players do? How do those arrows begin to make decisions? Trying to tease his way forward is HyDra. Neptune, always got to be aware of this guy. How great he has been in stage 4 this season, this series. Mack's able to deal with him. Never really got too much of an angle. And that will free up the plant, but it actually does not go down. Guys will delay it for the moment. The Decimate through the middle tracks, of course, hits Decimate. Finds his 7th. In one of the biggest positions possible. The artillery going to be utilized
Already
for...
pinged it.
Yeah, he's going to use it for the ping. And now Awakening once more in a 1 versus 3. We talk about how great Big Wake is, but putting him in spots like this is not indicative of what he could do. Looks to be a 4th round in a row for New York. Stud Frank may very well be warming up. Good old Sinatra.
He's not even playing for it. He knows it. This round is basically impossible. You do not want to give another kill to Decimate, but Mack's going to sniff him out in New York. 4 rounds in a row, man. They are just chaining him back to back to back. And right there, it was just huge plays out of Clayster. I know that Mack was able to find 2 kills when HyDra was trying to get this bomb plant, but Clayster slow playing towards that bottom B side. They just had all of the Mutineers players thinking that they were going to go middle, thinking that they were going to go A. But he takes that map control of their side of the tunnel. So then that helps his teammates get that easy rotation back towards that B bomb. Mack picks up 2, but Decimate picking up those streaks, using that ping to his advantage, sitting on a 7 spree. Is going to have that in that back pocket. So now Florida, nothing is working out, man. The strategies aren't working. So now it's time to put some aggression into your game. As it's going to be a 4-on-4 battle at this B bomb. Gunfights are about to happen.
Havoc and Neptune, the SMGs, they reply early. They're fully aware of Clayster's position. He and Mack have to try to back on up, but they're not even going to get that option. A well-responded round from the Mutineers. One where they have to go big, but talk about their aggression. That is what worked out for them to start this off. And once again, it is Neptune going big for the team, Stud. Doing everything he can to try to bring his teammates back in this game 5.
Yeah, so what Florida are doing wrong on their defenses is that they're just reacting to things. They're thinking that New York are doing one thing, and they're completely doing the opposite. They're just playing mind games. So right now, if you're Florida, you just want to spread map. The player who's going to be able to spot those players on that side of the map is where the info is going to come in. You have to back down and try to play a 4v4 retake, because New York, they're slowly just picking them apart, and you cannot allow that to happen into these later rounds as Mack, once again, finds another first blood.
In Neptune Awakening, they will quickly back up. They do not want to run into the barrel of multiple Krigs throughout the early train halls. As NYSL with the first blood on attack, you cannot ask for much better, but then you take down Neptune and you're thinking, okay, we very well may be able to do this. Neptune wiped away. Much better opportunity for us to close out what could be a 5th round. HyDra punches in the digits, and now once more Awakening. A 1 versus 4. Be having a stern conversation with his teammates as he takes an elbow to the jaw. And NYSL up 5 rounds to 2. One more gets them another series.
They're just playing so great, man. And this was a worry that I had. When they have a pickup team, that S&D is going to be that game mode that they tend to struggle with. But so far in this series, they're answering that map number 2. And now in this map number 5, they're 1 round away from closing this out. And you just got to think, like, Florida, what are we doing? This is a pickup team. Where are the strats at? Where is the teamwork going to come in? So far, the 2 rounds that they've won has all been 4v4 team pushes. But right now, they find themselves still in this game, New York, at game point. The pressure's going to come in from HyDra. Unfortunately, he's going to get dropped. So now Florida finally put themselves in a man advantage.
A time, too. More of a sigh of relief here in the Mutineers camp. And while Subliners could push their way up, it's a matter of when Awakening can get here in time. Decimate is going to get found out. The big play that could have been for New York, but Clay, you see, he's trying to check where Awakening could come from. He gets dealt with, and now a 4 versus 1. Mack with an all to do. Just trying to make sure there's no clever business going down at the other site, but as we said, Mutineers, they have got full control over A. And with that plant, Mack Another opportunity where it's just going to be that much more difficult. Takes down Havoc, but 3 more still to go.
Yeah, it's a 1v4. It's going to be really difficult for him to try to clutch up. But he was on a 4 spree, so he's just trying to pick up a couple kills to try to earn some streaks. But eventually, Florida players sniff him out. So now they stay alive in this game, down 5-3. And that was just a great play right there from Awakening to read that flank. Because New York, when they're in this position, they are allowed to take a couple risks, take a couple plays that Florida will not most likely respond to. But Awakening, such a heads-up play on turning around, picking up that first blow onto HyDra, definitely spoiled that party right there for New York. So now 5-3, New York are going to be on the offense. You see what HyDra's doing? He's just going to slowly play in the back of the spawn. So they're going to cause a lot of problems at this A-bomb. And this is going to force Florida to try to push through, thinking that they're being really aggressive towards it. But they're actually going to cut through the middle of the map. And they're going to all wrap back towards A. And this is a perfect play. Perfect play right here from New York as they're slowly going to approach this bomb towards that B site.
Instead, Decemate still has the streak to use. So if they try to go on the rotation, that could very well cover their tracks. Subliners, a perfect fake in this round. A free plant. Florida, they go for it. And now 40 seconds left. They've got a streak. They utilize it here. Mutineers, the push has to be now. Potentially the final push of their run here at stage 4. Awakening tries to get the peek, but HyDra, all too clever. Takes a few shots. But Havoc able to find one. HyDra there for the trade. Now into the 2 versus 3. Skyz and Neptune. Time continues to tick away, but it's Neptune on the flank. Skyz has to find one himself. Neptune's done the job. 10 seconds away, Clay.
You have to get on it.
Clay's here. Clay's here, but Neptune and Skyz.
Oh my.
They clutch it on the retake. They had a second to work with, and they're able to do it. What was that? Let's watch this again. It's a 3 versus 2. There's like 12 seconds left, but Neptune finds all 3. Give me a break.
What is this game? What is this game, man? Neptune going big in the final moments to keep his team alive, sitting on 13-5, really backpacking, putting on the Jansport for the Florida Mutineers right now as they stay alive in this game. New York are going to be on the defense. Keep in mind, Decemate still has that artillery to work with in his back pocket. But they're going to forward attack towards this lower B side because they know if they take control of this, A is wide open. All they have to do is use that streak. So they're going to leave Clayster in this position. Everyone else is going to decide to wrap back. But Florida, they are not biting. They are just trying to wait because, keep in mind, Decemate does not have that ping. So he has no idea that they are still in the spawn. So great plays right here out of Florida. Do they decide to hit this delay play towards that B site? As a couple players are going to be sitting in towards Catwalk.
Take a look at player 2. Clay gives up the position, but at least puts a little bit of a reminder in the back of the Mutineers players. You can feel the intensity, but keep in mind, while Neptune is here, Mutineers, they have rotated, and they've also allowed for Decemate to utilize the streak, so they don't have to worry about that anymore. 25 seconds left. All 8 players alive, but that's about to change. Mack with the early engagement. Havoc quickly gets on the bomb. Doesn't even look. Not worry in the world. It's all about the objective. But Decimate is able to walk away with the first. The first blood at the hands of NYSL. Once again, it's Decimate going big to start, but how can they continue off of that? Guys inside of lockers, they should be able to find Decimate, but they don't check it. They don't check it. Decimate realizes the angle that he has. That's going to be 2. Can Decimate make it 3? It's now it's all on the Neptune. And he drops as well. New York. They walk away with this series. They stay alive from getting 6-0'd in S&D yesterday versus the Røkkr. Now to relying on that game mode to keep them alive. What a series. What a moment.
I can't believe that. I'm at a loss for words, man. That was such a great series from both of these teams, and you see the sign of defeat on the side of Florida, man. Losing to a pickup team in 2 search and destroys, that's not how they pictured this series going, man. They won both hard points in such drastic ways. And all they needed to do was just clutch up in one search and destroy, man. They had the chance to do it in that map number 1. They just let HyDra completely go off. And even into this map number 5, the great early start from Decemate, it changed the way that their game plan was going to go. Because now they got to think about that artillery in the back pocket. So it's going to change the play calling. And that is what happened right there. New York, they just countered it every time. Early mind games into that game number 5 is what won them that game. But you can just tell, man, for New York, I was not expecting this, man. With a pickup team to win 2 searches, you got to tip the hat to the guys, man. At least off of that loss, they bounced back strong here in this game 5.
Yeah, you have to tip the hat to New York, and you also have to tip the hat to the Mutineers. I mean, just what a series that was. Yeah. What a game that was. Sent us the distance. Looked so good in the hard points, and what a game it was for this guy, man. I mean, I know that's a loss, but that's a win in my book. I mean, just the way that he played throughout this series, his ability to just turn it up was incredible. But as we said, the Subliners, they stay alive. And I'm sure the loudest person at home, after what a series that was, the loudest guy who's watching this game right now has got to be aBeZy. He's probably going nuts right now watching this one from home.
100%, man. He's definitely just going bonkers right now, sitting from home, just hyping up his team, happy that they have won this series. He wishes that he could be in here in this moment to help his teammates out, but just New York, man. The stuff that they have went through all year, still find a way to put it all together in the final moments, winning 2 searches and destroys, winning the control, losing both hard points. That has been their backbone game mode. Ever since HyDra joined this team, they lose both and they clutch up into 2-3-5, man. Who would have thought, man? New York, they stay alive.
They do, and I know I referenced coming into this, you know, this was a battle that's happened a number of different times throughout the season. Subliners faced off against the Mutineers in Game 5. It went down to a Game 5 in the Stage 4 regular season. The guy who went big for the team, it was aBeZy. He went 11-4 in that game. Decimate, the guy who fills his shoe stud, he goes 11-4 in this game, matching the same identical score as aBeZy. We talk about filling some big shoes, and he's able to do it in this game 5. And we continue to talk about Decimate, what a performance it was for him to go big for the roster. And he's also the player that we're looking out for in our Scuff play of the game. So we're taking a look back at round number 2.
Yeah, this is the 1v3, man. This is insane stuff right here from Decimate, because obviously Clayster opens up with the first blood, but Neptune does a great job at taking down 2. Eventually, the third Kim comes in as well. He shuts down Neptune that he was on an early 6 spree. So this is such a huge round because Decimate went on to eventually pick up some streaks of his own. So he finds that first blood, and he knows the positioning of Awakening. And with 40 seconds left, he knows that they have enough time to rotate to that other bomb site at A. But most likely in a 2v1 advantage, they're going to get this bomb down at that B bomb site. So with 30 seconds left, he gets some great timing here. He actually gets the sticky nade onto Havoc and then forces the 1v1. With some early shots onto Awakening, he knows, I have the advantage in this gunfight. I have to play up close and personal with this 74U to put myself in a better position to win it, and he does just that, man. Such a clutch from Decimate right there to win that for his team. You see the hype on their side, man. You gotta feel good, especially if you're the core 3 of NYSL. To see the pickup clutching in that 1v3, man, that feels good.
It has to. It has to feel good. You see Decimate getting loud, and as we said, fills the roles of aBeZy quite well in this game 5. What a series it was. What a performance it was. And I gotta imagine social's probably going nuts. Consider the way that game 4 ended. Consider the way that this game 5 comes to a close as well. As we head now to our Astro soundboard, saying, cannot tell me that Decimate does not deserve a spot next year. You're just playing with maybe 3 days of practice and showing out, in my opinion, one of the hardest roles to replace. Could not agree more, Stud. What a performance it was. I know he had a really shaky series versus the Røkkr. NYSL, they were trying to figure things out, but he performs, and the team, as we said, they get the job done at the stretch.
Get the job done, man, and it's got to feel good, man, because now they're going to go up against Dallas next, so this is great, man, to get that early momentum to show that their S&D can compete with some of these teams that are full rosters. It's great to see, and hopefully in that battle versus Dallas Empire, we know it's a rivalry there. I can't wait to see how that one turns out.
Without a doubt, my friend, without a doubt, what a series it was, what a game it was. Are you awake? I feel like you should be after a series like that. But on the sidelines, I believe.
I'm sweating.
we're definitely sweating. Jess, how you feeling?
Thanks so much, Lando. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I mean, Clayster's probably about to feel good as well. Like, it's been over a year since we've seen that hype, since we've seen you yelling across the stage to the other team. Like, you guys needed this win. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Honestly, just feeling good for aBeZy. Like, we wish you could be here. We love you, brother. And I'm really happy that Decemate is filling in for us and really just playing the way he is. So shout out to both of those guys for honestly just, Desi for helping, aBeZy for helping as well. He's like our offensive coordinator. But yeah, I don't think anybody expected us to win a series by winning 2 S&Ds, so a little bit weird.
So the talk I was hearing also is that everyone's kind of looking to you to step up and be the team leader. And, how's the sort of dynamic on the team, especially with regards to Decemate right now?
It's tough. aBeZy and Decemate are not the same player at all. And that's not to say that they both don't have their strengths, but it's not the same player at all. And we kind of built our team as like a puzzle where all 4 of the pieces really fit. So just bringing in Desi for aBeZy, it really kind of messes up the flow. And I think yesterday you saw that I was trying to overcompensate a lot. I was trying to do a lot of the stuff aBeZy does. But in reality, since I'm the AR player, I need to just focus on me. Like, I can't try and overcompensate all the time and make up for all like the gaps and stuff. So today, that's what I was focused on, just like focusing on me. It's a new team. We got 5 days of practice pretty much. So honestly, just whatever happens, happens.
So you've got just this little bit of a break, and then you're going to be facing the Empire. Where's your head at there?
Feeling good. Get to play the old Empire boys on LAN here in Dallas. It would be sweet to send them home, but, we're just going to try our best, try and win 3 more maps and get to Champ Sunday, because honestly, like, 1 match is good, 2 matches gets us to Sunday and top 4, and really that's what we're trying to do.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. Best of luck going forward. Lando, take it away, buddy.
Thank you so much, Jess. Yes, folks, we are just
early maps,
one
if they go
series
up 2-0,
down,
like
still
8-2
4 more to go today. If it's anything like that, I don't know, man. I'm definitely going to be passing out, I think it's fair to say. But, folks, LAN is back after the break. It is Lottie and Nameless breaking down the action and setting up our next series.
Well, hello, day 3 of Major 4. My goodness, I'm awake. Okay, what an incredible series. We have the bracket on the board for you guys right now. As you can see, Elimination Round 3 is where we're at, folks. 3-2 Subliners. Subliners will move on to Elimination Round 4, where they will meet their friends Empire to battle their way to hopefully that tournament final spot right at the end of it. But what an incredible series. I mean, let's just appreciate this for a second, right? Pickup team. Clay also finished the last series on a 0.77 KD, the last time that they played on that stage. Decimate, he honestly could have just sat back and aided his his core 3 teammates in their team and really not done a huge amount. But no, he steps up. The S&D was just unbelievable. This team, it kind of looked like they'd been playing for quite a while, and in just the short amount of days that they had to get this together to go against the Mutineers the way that they did in that Game 5 series was just amazing. Nameless, what did you make of that overall, man?
Every single player on New York had an incredible moment throughout the series. I mean, you think about HyDra in that Game 2 S&D, the guy was going off. I mean, in the pre-match segment, we talked about they needed playmakers. And in Search and Destroy, they clearly went over VOD, and they came with a brand new game plan today. You think about Clay in the control. I mean, the guy took over. Mack on the Game 4, he was going off on the 10 streak to get the streaks. They didn't end up winning it, but he was still popping off. And then in Game 5, Decimate to step up and set the tone with that